Good.
Love
All
it.
right, welcome everybody to this awesome. I am so excited for the call this month. We've been planning this. A lot of you guys, so the email that went out, we said, hey, this call is all about kids, and we have a new BARS manual for youth. Gary was very specific. We kept calling it the Kids BARS Manual, and he said, hey, they're infinite beings in little bodies, call them youth. So it's the new Access BARS Youth Manual. And we have some phenomenal illustrations from, her name is Saoirse. She's, if any of you guys know Glenna Rice, her daughter did these beautiful drawings. We've had an incredible team of people. I can't even name everyone, but Betsy and Ann and Shayna and Pam and everyone getting this new manual, because there's been so many of you guys asking about, and just creating anyway, bars for kids, for schools, in orphanages, having classes with all parents and kids, having classes with just kids. So we're going to show you that new manual today. It is in English at the moment, and we are getting it translated as fast as we can. And as you know, for manuals, that takes a little bit of time. This is a shorter, more picture version, as you will see, but we still have to get it translated. And then we also have to show you today an abbreviated BARS manual, which we're calling the Book of Possibilities. Gary wanted to call it that. And Anne worked so much with this and with Gary and all of us. And it's basically, a lot of you guys have been wanting to take BARS. Say you're going to a business and they want to have something on de-stressing their workforce, and you don't want to teach the whole BARS class or charge $350 per person, you know, these kind of different situations. Or you want to take it into a hospital, or for veterans, and you really want them to learn the BARS and all of the BARS, but you have the awareness that it's not about all the other stuff in the manual. So we have an abbreviated BARS manual that we're going to show you today, the Book of Possibilities. And we'll talk about like when and where is it appropriate to use, and registering people, and whether you have to do that or not, all of that. So let me kind of go through that with you guys. And I know as we go, people are going to have questions. So those are the two new manuals we have. And of course, we've made these nice little PDFs that say, here's how you use it, and here's what you can charge. So we'll go through all of that. It is so exciting, and I'm so excited.
Like a kid at Christmas.
The other thing that we've been creating is what's called a Youth Ambassador Program. So again, a lot of people have been asking or creating, like wanting to take the Access tools into schools or youth, like in anywhere youth are, after school programs, orphanages, things like that. And as you guys know, we have a lot of different resources now. So now we have a Kids BARS manual, which is awesome. And we also have all those kids books with Access Consciousness Publishing, like the Baby Unicorn Manifesto, the Baby Dragon Manifesto, Who is Henry is Susanna Mittermeier's book.
Things that go bump in the night.
Things that go bump in the night. The Adventures of Smudge and Friends, right? So we have the different kids books. And so, of course, anyone could bring a book into school and read a book to the kids class. And we love you guys to do that. And some people were asking to do more, like do lesson plans around the books, to take a book in and have it lead into teaching BARS to the kids, or some of the tools. And so that we're looking at as a bigger like certification called Youth Ambassador, basically. And we're going to talk about that. The prerequisites for that is to have a Choice of Possibilities class. And Gary asked for that because if you're a BF, if you're a BARS facilitator, you can go into a school and teach BARS. If you're going to be doing a more expanded thing with lessons and the Access tools, that's the prerequisite to be a Youth Ambassador. And it's going to be something that will show up on your profile on the Access website. We have a new information page about that I'm going to show you. And then we're going to modify it so there's a page to send schools to, for example. Like if you have a school that you want to offer something to, that we have something on the website that's very kid-oriented and about the Youth Ambassador program. And it's just going to be a $30 one-time fee to get that certification, so that it shows up and that we can work with you and especially address all those creations and what you guys are doing. Cool. So shall I begin sharing stuff? Pam,
Yep.
did you want to add anything?
Yes.
Betsy?
Oh, I was just going to say, and you'll fit all this into an hour. Woohoo!
Yeah, somehow. Oh, and what I wanted to actually start with before I show the manual to you guys, there's a short 3-minute video that we just published that is when Gary and Dane were in Italy. I don't know when that was, earlier in the year, I think sometime in March.
It was March.
March, okay. And Ann and I were there, and Danilo and Chiara, who I think are on here. I can't see all the faces.
Hi, we are here.
There you are, yay!
Hi there.
So the amazing Danilo and Chiara presented to, how many schools did you present to in Italy to talk this program about taking bars into schools?
We went to around 20 different schools around Italy and just present or send the digital presentation of the project. And we had, guess how many? One school choosing to go ahead with the project. Yeah, and this is the 3 minutes short version of this creation.
Yeah, so they're amazing, and you guys, part of also what we can share with you, they did a really beautiful proposal where they looked at research and what school languaging, and they did it in Italian, and we've translated it to English, and it's almost done in a lot of other languages, so you guys can see, like, and they're grateful to share what they researched and what they used as an example to get bars into a school. But like they said, they went to 20, one said yes, so never give up. And of course,
Can I say about the one that said yes was somebody that knew both of them, right? That teacher is one of Chiara's oldest friends. Like it's that invitation, that nurturing, this is not marketing cold call sells. Let's call 20 people and get one. No, just saying, right? So it's almost like, who do you know and where are they? That's the question. Who do I know? Where are they? What can I say? And that's what they did. All right, I'll shut up.
Totally. No, I love, and can I just add that we, like, this whole thing in that school started just by asking, would you like me, like them asking, oh, so what are you doing? And just asking, would you like me to touch your head and show you? And that's it. Like, there were no big explanation or like, you know, preparation under that. It was not getting stuff right. It was just like, oops, it was just like, would you like to try? And they tried, and they were like, oh my gosh, what would it take to have kids have that? And I was like, would you let me into school? And she was like, yes, let's organize. So that's how it just unrolled from there.
you guys are amazing. And so this day, of course, the school that said yes also is right near the Castle Vergone. And so in March, when Gary and Dane were both out there, one of the kids had asked Danilo and Chiara, hey, who invented access bars? And so Danilo and I were talking, we're like, wow, what if we could get Gary and Dane when they're at the castle to visit the school and the kids could meet who invented bars? So there is almost finished a beautiful 20-minute documentary of the whole day and some beautiful interviews with Danilo and Chiara and the parents and the teachers and about what changed in just 8 weeks. That is not quite done, but this 3-minute video is. And it's the interview it's the kids asking Gary and Dane questions about the bars. And I love it so much. So I'm going to screen share. And translators, you guys will be translating, because it's just in English right now, and subtitles will be up very soon. But it's also translated in Italian, obviously, because Chiara's translating in the video. Okay, let me share. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Good, okay.
When you started running bars, how old were you?
111.
111 anni.
No, I'm kidding. Yeah, I'm 77 now.
Adesso ne ho 77. I thought you were 90.
90? Oh, good.
What does bars mean?
It's like a bar that goes through your head that has all the thoughts that you've ever heard or thought that are not yours stored. Okay, it's like a bar that goes through your head.
I like bars.
Me too.
Anche a me dicono.
It's one of my favorite things in the world
È una delle mie cose preferite al mondo, dice lei.
because it relaxes me and makes me happy.
Perché mi rilassano e mi rendono felice.
And by the way, it's okay to be happy when other people aren't.
E tra l'altro, va bene essere felici anche quando gli altri non sono felici.
Just pretend you're crying.
Fate finta di piangere. How come you discovered that bars were relaxing?
It just came to me and I did it and it worked. You know, you ever ask for a present or something good to show up in your life? When you ask for something good to show up, it does, and you don't know where it comes from, it just shows up. Always ask.
Chiedi sempre.
You shall receive.
Chiedi e riceverai. Has it been difficult to invent them?
It wasn't difficult to invent them, but it was difficult to get people to try it. But once somebody tried it, they usually liked it a lot. The best thing about bars is you don't have any more fear. It makes it possible for you to do what you need to do.
Mi sembra di volare, poi dopo un po' passa. I feel like flying, then after a little bit it fades away.
Yes, I feel like flying all the time, so I have to go in an airplane because I haven't figured out how to flap my arms fast enough to get off the ground.
Non ho ancora imparato a sbattere le ali tanto velocemente da poter decollare. I feel for a little bit as if I was sleeping in the clouds.
You are.
After I feel like I don't have any bad thought, but just good things.
Yes,
Things.
because bad thoughts usually belong to other people, not to you. It's like your psyche, as they call it. So if you pick up a bad thought, you can ask, is this mine? And 99,000% of the time, it's not yours.
And the last thing is, mi sembra di tornare in classe dopo una vacanza. I feel like I walked back in class after a holiday.
You are correct. Awesome. Access is the greatest holiday. There's about 1 million people that run bars all the time, around the whole world.
In giro per tutto il mondo. Thanks to one person.
Thanks to one person. The one thing I'd like all you to get is like you may be the one person that comes out with an idea that changes the world. Don't give up.
E la cosa che vorrei che voi ragazzi sappiate è che voi potreste essere la persona che viene su con un'idea che cambia il mondo, quindi non rinunciate mai. I never give up.
Good boy.
Ah. Oh, stop share. I don't want to do that.
When you started running bars, how old were you?
Cool. All right. I love that so much. So that is, it's on the Access Consciousness Facebook page. If you guys go there, you can share it from there. And that is just, trust me, I've seen the 20-minute documentary and I was just crying the whole time. So, but they're not all translated yet because they're mostly in Italian. But gosh, thank you, Chiara and Danilo, and oh my goodness, everybody. So please share that video as just the beginning. I think there's 5 different videos from that day that we're working on. That's just the first one. So it's really beautiful, but it shows you what a couple people talking to a school and creating these kids, that's just amazing. Cool. Okay.
Emily, can we make questions now? Yes. Could you talk a little bit more about how was the approach to get to the school and get the teachers and all people in the school accept the idea of having such a different tool to deal with the children?
Yeah. Well, so what I'll do first is, because that's a great question, let me show you the materials first, And then we can talk about that. I'll have Kiara and Danilo talk about that, and a bit of what Anne said too, because it's going to be different for everybody. And that's a question that comes up on a lot of these calls, whether it's a school or a business or like, what do you say? So let's first show you like the materials you guys have, and then we can have that talk. And that's a talk that comes up on a lot of these, a lot of these Zooms, which is a great question. Sound good? Cool. Okay. So I will share my screen again and show you some of the other stuff. And if you guys have a question while I'm about any of the stuff that I'm showing, please go ahead and ask. So let's show you the kids manual. And Betsy, is this on the Ning yet, or it'll just be here later? It'll be there later today.
Yeah, it is actually all there. Mary just worked her magic, and it's all there in featured content. And then, there might be sizes that we're still getting up, but we got the bones there.
Okay. So right now it's in English, and it's in both US and A4 sizes. And like I said, and there are these beautiful drawings. So it's illustrated. And Anne, feel free to, so Anne interviewed, I don't know how many kids you interviewed and over how long, asking them about what they wanted a manual to be like.
I asked the kids what they knew that other kids would want to know about the bars. And so I asked them, so the question I asked them was, what would you like to tell other kids about the bars? And I created the manual based on, it was actually, what do you think kids need to hear from a bars manual that will make it easier for them to run bars? And then what do you think kids need to hear about the bars? And there are people that bring their kids to classes. And so over the course of 4, 5, 6 months, especially with the littles, I asked them if I could talk with them and interview them about the bars. And they were like, yes. And so I did, and I just asked them lots of questions. And so everything in that manual comes either from Gary's mouth or kids' mouths. And then there was some other stuff that was added a couple of days ago that is more adult stuff that sort of glues them together. But the heart of the manual is from that moment between Gary and Dane and those kids, and then the interviews that I did with them. And it just, and Emily and Shayna and Betsy and Pam and everybody who was involved, it makes me cry. It is so beautiful. One of the things that the kids said was, we want pictures, we don't want words. And so you'll notice that with the headshots of the bars, we just have the title of what that bar is, and we're leaving it up to kids to either ask or not. But just that kids know, they're going to know what to do. They just know so much, and us going at them isn't necessary. So, okay, does that make sense?
Yes.
Like that, yeah. You can explain, thanks, Em. You can explain all that to them.
Yeah, and that's why I love that it really is what kids asked for, and if you guys have run bars with kids, or like you get this, like they just go boop, boop, boop and put their hands in place and run bars, and so it's perfect because there's all these pictures, and you guys are welcome. Like Anne said, they ask questions, but it really is this very, the bars, and then the tools that when Anne was talking with them, like the ones that came up and she wanted to share with them. So
ask a question. Don't judge yourself. Expand out. You guys, if you don't know the expand out exercise, learn it, because the kids love it. And it's something that they can do when they're upset in school, or when their mom's yelling at them, or whatever. And then the crazy phrase when they're ratting around in their head and they can't go to sleep. And then the mantra 10 times in the morning and 10 times at night. Kids actually listen to it. They do this stuff, right? I've worked with kids for almost 30 years now.
And I'm muting myself off and on. My kids just got home from school. So if it's loud. And then ways to make money in here. So kids, if you guys have seen kids at classes, or, running bars is a great way to make money. And then Anne also put in here doing facelift and eye process. If you guys don't know facelift and eye process, if you have not taken it, if you've taken a body class, you know them.
Yeah. Yeah. But the energy of the manual is the lightness, the playfulness, the ease, the joy, the simplicity, there's not a lot of head stuff in there, like almost none.
Yeah.
How does it get better?
Right? Yeah.
Cool.
Hi, Emily. Can I ask a question here, quick?
Yes.
How long is this supposed to be the youth bars class? Is there any duration to it?
No, and it'll change, but we do want, and we'll talk about all of the logistic stuff, because that'll be different for ages and, everything like that.
Okay. All right.
The thing about kids is even more so than adults, you cannot be linear. You just can't. So there's what Em has written up as words to describe knowing energetically where to go, what to do, what to say, what's going on, right? She's done a brilliant job of writing that up.
Yeah, and we get you guys will still have questions, and so but it's so much of this is going to be really like asking questions and following the energy. So we have the, Access Bars Adult Manual, and then the youth one, which I just showed you guys. And then this is the abbreviated bars manual, which we're not even calling a bars manual. It's called the Book of Possibility, and it's truly about getting bars into the world. So I asked Gary after, a lot of people had asked, and I know Anne's talked with him a lot, and we said, hey, is it okay to like abbreviate or shorten the bars manual? Do you just want bars out there, or do we need to always have? And he said, no, I would like bars in the world. So if it's getting bars out there, let's get it out there. So this is different than an intro, because it is truly every single bars point. And as you guys will see, it's also very simple though. There's not a lot of the other tools in there. So there's the purpose of access. It talks about questions, the mantra. The clearing statement you'll see in here is written differently than the full bars manual. It's very simple. And then all about bars. Do you want to add something to that, Pam? Or sorry, Anne, while I'm
Lale approached me 2 or 3, there were a bunch of people that approached me about 3 years ago to create a manual for vets. And I worked on it with a couple of friends, and I interviewed vets, and I talked to lots of different people. And the energy of this manual is the energy that's required to invite people to something different without having to have a full-blown, I don't even know how to talk about it. This is not access speak at all. This is written in plain English, and I hope when it gets translated, it's written in whatever the plain language is. And it does talk about access, and it talks about the tools, but it talks about it in a way that people are going to get. So one example is I asked Gary about receiving. You know how it says the bars manual is all about receiving and nobody receives? I asked him for a description of receiving that a vet would understand, would get, and he said this is now in this bars manual. Receiving is the ability to be totally present with what is and have no point of view. Boom. That's a lot of the energy of this manual. It's that simple and that clear.
Cool.
Okay? Yeah. Cool.
Thank you, Anne. And as you guys can see, so once you get through those very, like Anne said, the basic tools in a language that people can hear, and it is, hey, this is part of access consciousness. So you can, there's a clearing statement in there, because it changes so much. so that is in there, of course, but everything is written in a language that's very like, hey, here's the bars, here's tools to play with that are very simple. And then it is a full bars, the sample session is in here, all the stuff about, the sample session is in a different PDF, right? But this is all the text that I'm pulling up, I think. Or it's just taking a while to load, maybe.
I think it's taking a while to load because it should be.
Yep, there it is. Okay.
Here it goes. Yeah.
So this part is just the same as the full bars manual. Okay, so it's just getting the bars out there. And we will talk about this is different. They're not going to be it's not like a prerequisite to foundation, like, right? This is not a bars class in that way. This is for people, like Anne was saying, take it into veterans, into the caregivers at an orphanage or teachers in a school where you really did want to teach the full bars.
Hospice, nursing homes, cancer wards in hospitals, like those kinds of places, first responders.
And there is a bit in the back, if someone, first responders is all of that, right? And if they are loving it, if you do a workshop or you work with an organization, in the manual in the back here, it talks about, hey, there is also a full day access bars class where you become a certified practitioner. Some might be interested in that, but that's not the target of it, right? But the information is there so that if someone does go, wow, I would really like to be certified in this, I want to go on and access, I'd like to take a foundation, they still need to do a bars class, and that's their choice. They've been exposed to this beautiful gift to share it in the world or to use it like in their organization or where they work. And so that's really what this is about, but they at least know where to find more. And obviously they've met you.
Excuse me, Ellie.
Yeah.
Hi. Hi, everyone. Do we have to give also the the images?
The head chart?
With all the pictures of the head charts, yes. Do we have to give that as well with this book of possibilities when we go to these kind of places? Yes?
Yes.
No? Okay.
Yes. So just because if you're just learning bars, you guys know how great the two-sided head chart is. So I would print that for them as well. And I'm pretty sure that we wrote that down right on that PDF is to still print the head charts. And same with the kids. I would still make those available for the kids because the manual is like pictures, and even if kids, I would print those for sure to have part of the class. So they could use the head charts along with, and they can take it to go. There's also a cute little kid certificate because so they get a certificate of completion, and that's going to be on the Ning too. I can show that to you guys as well. So the Book of Possibilities it's not a full bars class, right? They don't get credit in the access system, but they are in a sense an unofficial practitioner, right? They've learned a full bars. They're share bars, practice on people, share it. That's the target of that. And then with kids, with that kids manual, so this is where really with the energy of, you might have a kid who's 11 and wants an adult manual. You might have an all kids class where of course they're all going to want the kids manual. You might have an adults class with some kids that are coming. And I would say that manual, and Anne really designed it to be, we were looking around the 4-year to like 11.
9, 10.
Yeah. And you guys will, and the parent might know or just have them both available for the kids. But for a kid, when they take a class and use that manual, that is an official bars class for them. Does that make sense? So kids are different because they don't need to sit with an adult manual and do 4-hour-long sessions to become a official practitioner. So there's a big difference too between, so if you have a class that you might have done this where you have adults and kids come, the adult, right, is registering on the access system. The kid, as you guys know in the access and the way our website works is you can create a dependent account, and that way the child can be registered. We wanted to make this, like if you're going to a school or an orphanage or you're teaching kids bars and you're giving them the manual, we don't want you to even attempt to register them on the website. Does that make sense? Because they're not with a parent, that's not the target. And later they might want to go on to be a practitioner and we want the class to count. So what I'll show you next is we've created a really simple Google form. So say you were like Chiara and Danilo and you're like, hey, we're going to this school in Italy. All you have to put is like your name, where you went, where it is in the world and your emails, so that later if a kid goes, hey, I took this class in Italy here, that we can know that class actually happened. And because we love to hear about what you're creating too. But you do not have to be like, oh my God, I have to get them all accounts or find their parent to create an account, because that's not the point of it, right? And if that kid later goes on to, if their parent doesn't do access and they want to take a foundation later, or they want to be an official practitioner or a bars facilitator. We have a lot of kids that become bars facilitators, and they do need 3 classes, so this counts, right? So we do need some way. You need to fill out the form, one, so we get aware of, and we get to create, energetically be like, cool, look everywhere this is going. And also so those kids get credit without having to register them, because that's a legal and just back end nightmare sort of thing.
Emily,
Yeah.
I have had several experiences having children and teenagers in my BAUS classes, and so far, no mother, their mothers, they didn't register their kids on the access. What should I do? They don't even have a login in the accessconsciousness.com.
Like the parent has never created a dependent account, basically, right?
They didn't. What to do?
Well, I'd say, if one of those kids later wants to get credit, they can just contact us, say, I went with my mom to this class. We can look it up, and there's a lot of kids who don't care about credit. So rather than trying to say, do all these things, as it comes up, we can verify with you that they were at your class and give them that history.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question about the Choice of Possibilities book, Emily. Is there a global pricing and a timeline for that?
Yeah, so I'm going to pull up the PDF. And when you guys go into the Ning, so basically there's going to be, here's your new stuff, and there'll be a box folder, and it'll have the manual. And then there's going to be this PDF that I'm going to show you that has kind of all of these logistical things. Okay, so I'll go through it, and then you guys can ask questions. And
if you want to screen share again, because it is all in the Ning and people are asking where it is.
Okay. So do you want me to pull up through the Ning, or can I just show it like this and then?
Well, show it like that, but then maybe also show the Ning before you.
Okay, cool.
And, yeah, thank you.
Okay, so this is the PDF with for the Access Bars Manual for Youth. And this is what we already talked about, kind of, those of you who've been asking to take bars to kids in different places. The bullet points, so again, this is a full Access Bars class, created, as Anne already explained that part. We would like you to print this in color, because as you guys just saw, all the illustrations, and they're kids, they like color, so print in color. There's also a youth certificate with the manual in the same box folder. So again, they get something cool at the end of class. And then, yes, we would like you to print the 2-sided head charts to make them available for kids, so they can get a manual, one of those easy laminated charts, and then a certificate. When you use the manual, this is the form. You just click on this link, and I'll show you what it looks like. Really simple. If you guys have never used a Google form, it's literally you type in your name, country. Please put the email there that you actually check. That's why it says your best email, phone number. That's just in, if we need to contact you about something, wherever you held the class. And the city and country, because a lot of you guys travel and do it in different places. And the date. If you, roughly, if you know the exact date and you're doing this ahead of time or the day of class, which would be ideal, that's great. That'll really help us track the classes that when kids, if they want to claim their class. And then this part, tell us a little bit about the day. You can write as much or as little as you want there. That's kind of so when we hear your awesome story, I then later say, oh my gosh, can we write a blog about this or share it in wherever other places. So that's really, you can write as little or as much there as you'd like. And where did I put it? Not that. There we go. So that's what we'd like to ask you to fill out. So you do not register them all on the website, okay? If it's like a mostly kid class, if you have a kid that's registered with an adult, and they have an independent account, then you can. So this is that bit about registration. That's the same form. It's not a different one. Just kind of talking to it about, again, you'll see that form. You don't have to write every kid's names down. So we don't need individual names. You don't have to submit 30 kids' names and make sure you have first and last names. We do not need that. Just where you were and the date. Pricing. So for kids classes, in Access, kids 15 and under are free. They do not require a paying adult to have this be free. And 16 and 17-year-olds are half price. You can also choose to charge an amount for this class. You are printing manuals. That is completely up to you. So you can have it be totally free. You can raise money to pay for the manuals. You can charge a small amount to cover that. You could charge more than just reimbursement costs. This is that space of ask questions of what would create the greatest future. Like, what's the target of the class? What would create the greatest future? What's honoring to you? What's honoring to the community you're working with? And it'll be different every time. What works for maybe one situation will change, even though it might seem like similar age kids and you're the same facilitator. If you guys have questions about that, about what to charge, or, feel free always to email us at bars@accessconsciousness.com, or, ask in the Facebook group or your other facilitator groups of, hey, what have you guys done? And truly, you're going to know. You have the awareness of what you're creating, so ask questions. And so the pricing on that is going to vary from free to whatever you would like to charge. And
Emily?
Yes.
Oh, I was going to say, because it says this counts as a full class, but can you talk about how you might adapt? Like, a kid's class might not be as long. It counts as a full class, but it doesn't have to be a big, long access.
Yes.
Bars. Yeah.
And
so maybe.
And for little kids, they can't do more than about 2.5 hours. And you also need a break or two in there, and you need probably a lot of adults around as well. It's a whole different energy.
Yeah. Do you want to talk? I mean, that's basically, if you guys haven't done that, and we've had a couple past, like 4 or 5 calls on kids and bars classes, but absolutely, it's a full bars class, and you might have a full bars class that goes 2 hours with kids, like an hour, really.
With 5, 6, 7-year-olds, if you haven't been around 5, 6, 7-year-olds recently, spend some time with them before you do a bars class. You're really going to want to do that. They are fast.
And as you guys know too, there's still in the in the Ning is a bars intro class, which is just the first implant, the first energy pull, implant, and restructuring. So that's an option too. Like, I've used that with like babies and kids and parents, so it's asking questions really. That manual is all the bars points. So, but kids run bars a full session in 20 minutes or less, so it's going to look totally different. And that's why really, that's also part of why we have each other in all these groups and the youth ambassador program, which we'll talk about if we get through all this, so that you guys can ask each other questions. Cool. Okay. So let me share again to pull. So when and how to use this manual, we've talked about a lot of that. One of the ways you can use this manual with the Book of Possibilities is, say you're going to a school like Kiara and Danilo, for example, they were running bars on the kids. And after a while, maybe the teachers or the staff, or maybe you start with the teachers and the staff, and then they want to run bars. So that might be a time where you use the youth manual for the younger children. And then you could use like the Book of Possibilities, that shortened bars manual, for the staff. For, what does that make sense? You can use them in conjunction with each other. The adults using the Book of Possibilities, again, it's not like an official bars class where they can then go to foundation after, but they've fully learned the bars. Cool. Okay, so then that's that. And then there's a different form for the Book of Possibilities. So again, this will be in the Ning with the manual. And so this, again, bullet points like the most questions you guys would ask. So again, it's not an official bars class. So they're not a certified practitioner, but they are an unofficial practitioner, right? They can give sessions to anyone. So it's just different because it's not in our system as an official bars class where they could like create a profile and become a bars facilitator. And they might choose to down the road.
Emily, just
yes.
a question. Can I ask you a question about the fact that they are? Thank you so much. That's amazing. That's amazing, all of you. Really. But for this, the what? It is the Book of Possibility, right?
Yeah.
If they're becoming a practitioner, they can give session, but they can be paid for the sessions.
I would say, Pam, what would you say to that?
I saw her.
I would say. Yeah, I was going to say no, that if they want to do a bars business, they should take a regular bars class. And that's because like you can use this Book of Possibilities and deliver lots of different kinds of classes. They wouldn't, I just don't know how well they will have learned bars in terms of going out and charging for it as a bars practitioner, depending on how you do it.
Thank you. That was one good question there. Yeah.
Thank you. And that's a great, because really, and that's where this thing of what's the target of this, most the target, you'd be using it in a group of people that like, yeah, that want to use it, vets that want to use it with each other, policemen that want to use it amongst each other, or the staff in a hospital, or like, right, they're probably using it not as a business. The goal is to get bars in where they're living, to get bars in the world. And then if they want to have a business with it, they know where to find you. Or
also,
other
I think to be like afterwards, if you want to have a business with that, like these are the pages, you know, how to take the class and all of that. Yeah, that sounds good. Also in jails, right? If someone is able to go.
Totally. Yes, yes. Absolutely. And so this one, same thing, when you do a class using this,
I was just going to say one more thing. Like, you know, sometimes people ask, like, there might be a whole business and you go to the human resources department and they're interested in having their people learn bars, but they want to do something like, you know, a certain amount for the whole day and it's multiple people. You know, before all this was created, what we used to tell you is you can only do a bars class if people actually pay you the amount that we say is the minimum for, you know, is what you charge for a bars class. With this, you can go into that business and do bars workshops, and they're all learning bars, and you're pricing it however you're choosing. You know, but again, all those people don't then get to go out and do a business with bars, but this allows you to take bars into places in different ways than we've ever said, you know, is okay to do, which is really exciting.
So Em and Pam, do they get to call themselves bars practitioners? They don't, right? Because they're not.
Well, they're not getting a certificate and they're not in our system. They've just, think of it this way, they've learned bars. The adults who go to a Book of Possibilities bars class, they've learned how to run bars, and they can run bars on people and enjoy bars and help the world with bars.
Right, I get that. But in turn, like Francie's question about can they charge, that's a different, anyway.
No.
They're an unofficial practitioner. Does that make sense? Like, so they can run bars and because they know bars. And so in that sense, they are like, they would not, a new person would have no idea about the Access website that we have something called a bars practitioner, a bars facilitator. They don't care or know those titles. Can they run bars and give sessions? Yeah. And then I think those people that are curious for more will go, and it's in the manual too, of like, hey, you can become an official practitioner. But when you guys are delivering this class, make sure to let them know you can now give sessions. And if you want to create a business and charge money, come to a full class where you get all of the info. So that's where you, the facilitator, it's in the manual, but please tell people that you know how taking a class.
And here,
and this is,
now my question was more like, because I get it that probably bars facilitator been used to teach the bars, right? And then there is this. So that's the follow-up. So they have more clarity, but also Carrie here brought another modality of practice. When I was a student, we were not allowed to charge. Just once we were qualified, and then you charge it. So just you give them the information.
Yeah.
It's brilliant what you did. Just
well,
to.
And from a different perspective, what I can tell you is if somebody writes to us and says, here's somebody building a bars business, and we look in the database and they're not there, we would write them and say, hey, look, you're not qualified, you're not certified to have a bars business. So, you know, from that perspective of we get those complaints and we follow up on them, you know, the people who are taking the Book of Possibilities bars class aren't going to be in our system. We won't consider them someone who has the right to use the trademark terms and have a bars business, but they're welcome to run bars all over the place.
Yeah, and truly, what can it create, you know, for just getting bars in the world? And you guys know humanoids that are looking for this, find it. And they will ask for more. And bars changes everything for everyone. So they don't need to want it. Some will want to take a bars class and more, and you know, and others will be like, wow, what a gift to wherever they work.
And another thing I know, like people, like when something new like this comes out, everybody wants to know exactly how can I use it? Is this okay? Is this not okay? If you come from the space of this is about getting bars out in the world in a different way, more places, it, you know, mostly if you have those, what about this, you can always write us, but it's not meant to be this very rigid, this is how it works thing. It's much more an invitation to go out and create.
I would like to say something. I'm from Romania. I'm also a teacher and a bars facilitator. And a month from now, I'm taking a group of teenagers, 12 to 15, on a summer camp, English speaking. So thank you for the manual. I won't ask if I can use it because I will be using it.
Yes.
In English, because it's the best tool ever for our personal development sessions, let's say, apart from language development.
Awesome. And we are getting it in languages. So, but thank you.
Yeah.
And so I know with, we talked about pricing for kids, and then pricing with this one, it's again on this PDF, but you can choose to gift, some of you might want to gift this to, you know, first aid workers or first responders. You can also, like as Pam was saying, a lot of, you know, schools, businesses say, oh, we'll pay you, you know, $2,000 for the day, or, you know, a flat fee. So you can do it that way. We just ask that you don't charge more than the repeat bars price per person, which would be high anyway for a workshop. But like if in US dollars, we ask you don't charge more than $175 per person. So that's kind of how you can base it. And it can be all the way down from there to free. So that is up to you. But this is not, and this is not the class you offer when you decide people don't have enough money or they can't afford it. So you guys get, that is a very, very different situation. So there's a difference between concluding, oh, you know, I live in this country, or I'm going here and no one can afford it. That is disempowering those people to do something. That is completely different. Okay, so this is truly when the target is to get bars to an area that, or region or people or a group that wouldn't have it. So it's different than going, oh, they would never be able to afford full price, I'm going to give them this class, because that's dishonoring of them, of you, of access, all of that. So if you are at all confused about that, write us an email and ask a question. But that's energetically a very clear, like different. And if you're confused, ask. Absolutely.
And one thing, like you might wonder, is there a class posting for using the Book of Possibilities? And there's not, because it's meant to be, you're going to an organization that's creating something in the world that you want to contribute to, or, you know, an organization where bringing bars to it's going to create something different. So it's really about you making those connections and having available a version of the bars class that you can take under different circumstances than a usual bars class. And I see there's a lot of questions about who can facilitate the bars class for kids and the bars class for the Book of Possibilities. And you do have to be a bars facilitator. The program that you don't need to be a bars facilitator is the Youth Ambassadors, which I know Emily will get to. But it is bars classes, and you do need to be a BF.
And then there's also been questions about, do you have to do 2 exchanges for both of these classes? Gifting and receivings.
Pam, do you want to, I would say for the Book of Possibilities, well, I don't know what you would say. I would say for the Book of Possibilities, well, I don't know what you're going to say.
Well, I say definitely for the kids, do whatever works. Like a class for kids does not have to look like a regular bars class. And if you get that they've got it after trading once, you know, I think that's fine. For the Book of Possibilities, I'm going to say it depends on where you're taking it. Like you might be taking it into a shelter and all you have is 2 hours. And so get done what you can get done. I wouldn't don't not take it there because they're limiting your time. On the other hand, you know, if you have them for a whole day, absolutely have, you know, the 2 sets of bars trades. It doesn't count as a bars class, so there's not like a requirement, but you know, what's needed for them to actually walk out the door, being able to run bars on each other. You know, so adapt it as you need to be able to take it into a place, but the more of it you can give them, the better.
That's a
so
great
Emily,
question.
any different?
No, that's what and that's a great way to put it is if you did have, you know, if you had 3 hours or 2 hours, what would be required so they feel confident running bars when they leave? So if it's, you know, a couple trades, but 30-minute sessions or where they get to put hands on, or maybe you do 1 trade that day, and a lot of places like to have a follow-up workshop, or maybe from the beginning you book 2 different times. Or, you know, so whatever, that's a great question of what would create them feeling confident. Because you guys know, I mean, when you're first learning bars, 1, you don't think you also are getting it. I mean, I didn't. And then I was like, how do we know? How am I going to learn this? And it's practice. So encourage them wherever they're taking it, they're probably going to share it, right? And encourage them to practice with each other. Maybe make yourself available to come back and help with points. You know, there's lots of things that could happen after this. And that is truly when you engage with these people. Like if you've engaged enough and created this workshop, then stay in contact. Like what else is required for that group, or what would contribute to them and to you? And so that's where a lot of questions might come up, and that's why those forms are great, because we get to know where you're taking it, and then email us anytime or message me, or, you know, so that we can, because I get those questions are going to come up, and use each other. There's almost 10,000 bars facilitators in the world. We have almost 400 on the call, so that's a lot more out there than that. You know, let's use each other. You guys have been such a contribution in the different groups that we have on Facebook and other places, so asking each other too, because you guys are brilliant and have ideas and, you know, can share with each other.
Can I ask a really quick question?
Yes.
So say that you want to present this to like a business, like a corporate office or something. Is there a resource to kind of show us how we can do that?
Well, one thing is a month or so ago, we had a practitioner call that Lauren Polly was the guest on, and she was talking in detail about go look at a website, pick out some keywords to formulate how to approach them. So that I would highly suggest watching that. And then Emily, go ahead. Sorry.
No, that was great. I would say that, and then asking us, it's the same thing. There's never going to be a formula that we would give you guys. So it really is going to be what business, watching that Zoom, because she talks about first finding somewhere, a business that has a opening for stress relief or, you know, like that sort of thing. And then using so that languaging would help with that. And then it's just really calling and asking questions. They're used to people selling something to them, when you call and ask questions of what they need and what they're looking for, and you go, oh, I do this. I actually have a class on that helps decrease stress. Like they go, oh, and you're not pushing and selling and explaining everything. And that might work other, explaining more things will work other times. But that was a brilliant Zoom, which is part of all the stuff we have for you guys as the youth ambassador. And we're going to go a little over. So I'm imagining this is going to take maybe 5-10 more minutes.
Yeah. And okay. Emily, if you wouldn't mind sharing your screen again and just showing people in the Ning, because I'm getting a lot of private messages about where to find this. So
where on the Ning.
Thank you.
Yeah. And also just somebody was asking in the thread, can the people who've gone to, say, a Book of Possibilities class and learned bars that way come to a bars gifting and receiving? And I would say yes. Gifting and receiving is about trading bars. So if they know how to run bars, they can come to the gifting and receiving class.
Okay. So Betsy, I haven't been in here yet. Where is it under?
It's in featured content.
That's what I thought.
It will be in the other places as well, bars, manuals and stuff, but right now it's in featured content. So.
Okay, so if you go here, new access bars youth manual, here we go, here for the manual and the guidelines. Here's the certificate, okay. Then here's the youth ambassador stuff we'll talk about in just a second. It also has a landing page and guidelines. And then the Book of Possibilities is right here. And the PDF too. So basically the little information PDF is in the same box folder with each of those. So that's where it's on the Ning. You just have to go homepage, featured content. It'll later be found in, do we choose marketing resources or business? I forget, but it'll be found in, all the stuff you guys need is basically in marketing and business resources. Well, there's a lot of stuff on here, but the things people ask about the most. The things people ask about the most. Okay. So if you are interested in becoming a youth ambassador, like we said, the prerequisite for that is a choice of possibilities class, which you guys know, you can use as your renewal class. If you've been a bars facilitator and want to renew your license each year, you take one class a year or more, but it is a program where we will be communicating with you guys too for even more questions around these creations. If you have this certification, it's $30 one time. It'll go on your access. You know how when you click on your profile, if you have a public profile, which I would highly recommend you have a public profile, it'll say, it'll have bars facilitator and it'll say youth ambassador. So it'll be like a different certification there. And you do not have to be a bars facilitator to be a youth ambassador, okay? So a youth ambassador, you can create intro classes, workshop, lessons plans, talks, all the stuff where you'd be taking tools of access into schools or with youth anywhere. So it could be, camps, like Anna was mentioning, after school programs. Using the books of access, Kiara started to make an amazing lesson plans based on the Baby Unicorn book and how to use it as a language book and all the ways you could teach English and many other things. So a lot of this is going to be, you guys have created things. How do we share it with each other? What else can we create? Where else can we take the tools? However you guys see using this certification as a way, kind of using this reality and certifications, and I'm a youth ambassador for Access Consciousness and I offer these things. And if you would like to take bars into a school, you've obviously had a bars class if you've done a COP, so you can give sessions. But if you want to teach bars to the kids or students, you need to be a BF, right? So that is what you would need, or you can partner with the bars facilitator. All of you guys are bars facilitators. So if you are, a facelift or body process and would like to become one, that's how you teach bars. But you can pair up with people who, maybe you have friends in Access who have just done a COP, but you'd want to go into schools together. They can do this. So this is, you just have to have a choice of possibilities class. If you have had a COP and you would like to do this, it's already set up in the shop where you can pay $30 and get this certification. You will have to, it's going to prompt me to log in. So you have to log in and then you'll see where you can buy it through the shop. The one thing we didn't get done before the call, we were so close, is so you can get this $30 one-time fee. If you are interested in this, but maybe you haven't done a COP yet, or you just want to know more, we wanted to create an opt-in for you where you can opt into a special email list about the youth ambassador stuff, but it's not quite ready yet. So we will put it back on this page. This is accessconsciousness.com/youth ambassador. You can also use this email. This is the fancy abbreviation we chose, at ACYA for Access Consciousness Youth Ambassador. You can use that email to get in touch with us. Myself, Kiara, Danilo, Betsy, and Pam, I think, are all on that email. If you have questions, and if you come back to this page by tomorrow, there'll be a little box where you can enter your email and let us know that. That information is all on, this is also on the Ning. When you go to the Ning, there's that landing page, and then there's more information about the program. And sorry, my computer's slow when I have lots open and I'm on Zoom. So you can find this PDF too if you have other questions about the Youth Ambassador Program and how to sign up so we can basically contact you, and maybe we'll have special Zooms. We're not sure exactly what that'll look like, but kind of create Zooms around how we can grow this program. But that's the landing page. So if you go back there by tomorrow, you should be able to sign up where we can contact you. You can, of course, email us. This just says what the landing page basically says. And then here are some of the other resources that you guys can use as a youth ambassador. So that proposal we were talking about that Danilo and Kiara so beautifully wrote up, that is a great example of what you might want to write to a school. That's examples here. We also have the research links again to Terry's study, the summaries of that and her actual article. The white paper by Dr. Fannin. Dagmara Pluto, I think, is also on the call. You're amazing. Thank you. She did all these lessons that she used with teens. Dagmara, are you on? I don't know if you're on, because now we've been on over an hour too.
Hello, yes, I'm on.
Hey, you are. Okay. So what age kids did you use these with? So they're great lesson plans and examples of using the tools with kids.
Thank you so much. I did it twice. The first time, and both times was between 10 and 17. Cool. So I had all the kids together, but we had two facilitators, once 2 and once 3 facilitators. Like I was running the whole class, but then they were helping out and kind of overseeing how the kids were touching the points, and also giving extra examples of just how to use the tools. So it was really a lot of fun. And then we split the kids, the younger ones and the older ones, into 2 separate groups when we did book reading, so that they could kind of we could talk about examples that were more related to their age group. So yeah.
Oh, awesome. So if you guys take a look in there, there's a lot in there. She created some really beautiful like slides and activities, but like it's very much laid out. If you've ever taught in a class, there's lesson plans in there, as Kiara's done too. So use these guys. And these are just a few of the people. I know there are a lot more of you out there that have used this. These are just some of the people that we pulled their things and put them on here. And we'd like to grow this. That's part of creating this program is, wow, how can we pull all of this stuff together and, use each other and out-create with each other and ask what else is possible. So this is just the beginning of what we have, and we'd like to keep adding to it. These are the past Zooms that we've done about kids in any form. So there's a couple with Anne. Those are all there. Those are all replays. Bars photos, kids in bars, everything at this link. It's also on the Ning, but it's here for you for easy access. These are ones we've had approval from the kids and parents that, yes, you can use those online. So you guys can use those. They're what we often use online and in emails and places, but those are able to be used. And then all the books we talked about. And if you want to order them in bulk, there's the email there and how you find them all in the shop too. Woo! We did it in just about an hour. So I know you guys have lots of questions, so we can take a couple. And know that I probably won't get to every single question, right? Because we've been on an hour. So please email us at bars@accessconsciousness.com. If you, especially that ACYA about the Youth Ambassador Program at accessconsciousness.com. Ping in the Facebook. Well, I'll put the replay of this as soon as we have it in the Facebook group. As you guys know, it takes a couple days to get, or 1 or 2 days to get the English email out and everything like that. But let people know where they can find the replay of this if they missed it. On the Ning, all that stuff is there. So like I showed you, go to featured content. And right now we have things in English, and we will translate everything as fast as we possibly can. Thank you to all you amazing translators that we work with. And use those PDFs, use each other, and we'll take a couple questions and then try to get off about 15 after. Cool. Anyone have a question? Noah's asking, after we get questions, will we put them on the fact sheet? Yes. So all the questions that are not on there that you guys, a lot of you are asking, we can add on to it. Cool. Yes?
No. Okay. I'm going to ask one. Hi.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. I was wondering, because it seems to be for schools and orphanages and all these structures, all these places, but if, for example, I would like to set up a day, like a workshop for mother and daughter, for father and son, or for families, so that they can learn bars and give bars to each other in the family, to the sisters, to the auntie, grandma, I don't know, just like having fun with that. Can it also be used this way?
Oh, exactly that. Yes, okay. yes. Okay. We had a lot of people doing that too, and where they were like, we need a kids manual for all kids classes or family classes, and absolutely, yes.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Oh, thank you guys for all the gratitude too and all the questions.
This isn't a question, but I just want to say this is amazing. You guys, there's so much information, so much help to help us choose to do this. And I've been wanting to do something with kids for a long time. So yay, this is going to make it easy. Thank you.
Yay. Well, thank you guys. Thank you everyone. And oh my God, all of you guys who contributed to, there's so many people to different parts of the manuals and taking it in schools and all of everyone's awareness, and you guys asking too. And it's like those things that, because Anne, like, how many years ago you said you're trying to work on the manual for veterans, and same with the kids thing has been like, need a kids manual. And then all of a sudden the universe goes, there's just, and everyone, and it all gets created. So the magic
response, and it's because of you guys out there asking for this, right? Thank you.
Hi, can I just say something?
Yes.
And you were with us at the kibbutz in the border of Israel.
Hi.
And we had this all sorts of ideas of going and teaching parents the bars, and we didn't really have any idea. There were some BFs who wanted to do something just like this, for just for people in these sorts of places when they're literally getting bombs on their heads for so many years, and just to giving the parents the possibility for this kind of stress relief, and so much gratitude for opening this possibility. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. I know someone else, when we were just in Israel, Tagit, I don't know if she's on, but she was like, this is just the manual. She was asking a similar thing where there's a woman taking a program for suicide survivors or people.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there you are. She's like, oh, this is the perfect man. So it's like all of those things that you guys all, you're all different. You all bring something to the world and are involved in all these different amazing things. I see Sirius on here. She was running bars the other day in a park with, what what's the name of the group? I can't remember.
Habitat for Humanity?
But it wasn't Habitat. It was people helping people. Like they were in a park, and then they had all these homeless people too that were coming up and running their bars. I mean, the possibilities are endless. These are so that you guys do have a different format and more ways to get bars into the world. So everything is on the Ning under that featured content. If you click on it, you'll see the youth manual, the youth ambassador, and then the book of possibilities, the manuals, and then all the PDFs that answer questions. And then if you have more questions, email us and ask questions in the group and use each other.
Emily.
Yes, Danilo.
Yeah. Can we just acknowledge how much the future is different now? Let's just pull energy from September. There is the suicide awareness, and later there is Christmas, and a lot of energy and intensity is different now. Can we just acknowledge how much we changed just with this call and everything that we are willing to be now?
Yes, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Wow. What future are we all creating that we have not yet acknowledged? And everything that is times a gazillion, distort and create it. Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And what beyond this reality acknowledgement can we all be for each other? And everything that doesn't allow that would destroy and create it. Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. So true. Thanks to you guys too. Like the future, all of you, and being with you guys at that school in Italy. Really, I mean, wow. Those kids were completely every time you run someone's bars, right? There's a completely different. You change their future. Your future changes, but wow, what a
Can I just share one little story that was almost whisper in my ear after a mom? There were a couple of mom that went to that when Gary and Dane came to the school, and she was telling me about how much her son changed during these 8 weeks. And then she said, usually Saturday morning it's a busy morning because the kids don't have school, so there are a lot of programs going on. And lately what has happened is that my son jumped in the big bed and just said, I'm gonna run your bars, and the son touched her head, and she was completely it was as if she was telling a secret and saying, I get to receive, and I haven't done anything, and I get to receive. And it was really this shift of paradigm in her words. There was this total I am the mom, I am supposed to give, and this has changed just with I don't know, a kid running her bars or kid, and it was such such another dimension of conversation she was now having. It was like, I get to receive. It was just like when you're learning a foreign language, it was like receive, like what. So the bars really do change paradigms, and where else would they like to go? And thank you for the future conversation, Danilo. I'm like, yes, really, thank you.
Cool. Thank you guys.
Thank you, Emily. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Betsy.
Seriously.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yay.
What else is possible now?
Go out and have fun with all of this.
It's just the beginning.
Yes. Yeah, let us know what you create.
Yeah, and we'll continue to develop the Youth Ambassador program too, because really that is truly like, what else is possible? We're just starting.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow, thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.